right, so now we're on to number 2. This is a hint video again. Now, just like before, I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to give you some information that might help. Okay, so this is ranking objects by centripetal force. So it's really important when you get to the quiz, you need to identify, all right, are they asking me about period or are they asking me about centripetal force? Because notice that this problem looks really similar to this problem, but they're asking about 2 different things. Okay, so centripetal force is going to be a little bit different than period because period is just the time. Centripetal force is the amount of force that it takes to hold that object in its circle. And so we have to go back and we have to think about here I'll write it down here so I don't get confused. We have to think about the centripetal force equation. So remember that Fc equals mass times velocity squared over, what is it? Radius, that's right. Okay. So m times v squared over radius. So what they've given us here is they've given us a radius and a velocity for each one. So we have to look at how does radius affect centripetal force? Does it make it bigger or smaller? And then how does velocity affect centripetal force? Does it make it bigger or smaller? And so the first thing we want to look at is radius. And we have to remember this right here, okay? Radius. Okay? So for radius, bigger radius causes less force. They're opposite. Smaller radius causes more force. Okay? That's really, really important that we have that opposite relationship. A lot of us had struggled with that in the quiz. And I really want us to make sure that's something that we kind of nail into our heads is that when it comes to radius, big circles, big radiuses have small forces. And small radiuses or small circles have big forces. And so that's going to help us rank. That's going to make you be able to look and say, okay, well, which one of these is going to have the biggest, which has the smallest? We can go ahead and think about that. Now, the other thing is we have velocity. Okay, and velocity is the other way around. So velocity kind of goes the way you would expect it to, okay? So big velocity leads to big force. Small velocity leads to small force. Okay, now here's the other thing we could do, guys, by the way. Now, this doesn't tell you a mass, but we could just pick a mass. Okay, let's just pretend that the mass here was 1, so it's nice and easy. And so if we use the same mass for all 4 of these, we could actually calculate. I could do force equals mass times, instead of velocity, let's put in 5. So I could actually do mass times velocity squared divided by radius. And I could get a number, okay? So that's going to be, what, 25 divided by 2. That's going to be 12.5. So I can actually assign a number to each one of these if you're really unsure. And then you can rank order them based on the number that you get. So you could do the same thing for B, the same thing for C, and the same thing for D. And then if you have 4 numbers, then you can just plug them in, you know, smallest to biggest right there. And that'd work. Again, if you have a question on this, make sure you raise your hand and ask me. I'll sit down next to you and I'll help you get it figured out.